bringing the people behind our food to life.
I think that food waste is really a monumental issue in the country. There are just overwhelming statistics, which I can't recite at the moment, but it's something to the effect of that each individual in the United States throws away 600 pounds of food a year. So we're talking about millions of pounds of food that's going into landfills. So there's a couple issues with that. There is that the breakdown of that food in landfills creates methane gas, which is bad for the environment. That's sort of the scientific bad news of it. The worst news, in my opinion, is the wasted opportunity that we could be feeding people who, otherwise don't get enough to eat or get nothing to eat. And we are, just for the ease of disposing of this food, we're just tossing it and we're not thinking about, I think it's a little bit like our culture has become, which is everything's disposable. Things are built to be thrown away now. And when you see the amount of food, when we pick up a lot of, the big food thing in the last 10 years has been artisan bread, this wonderful bread that's baked every day. And it turns out that most of these bakeries bake much more than they need. And the bread is only saleable for one day. So there are just thousands of pounds of bread that get tossed at the end of the day, just in Portland. I mean, that's not even talking about the country as a whole. So I think that we have to start rethinking this. It's just the buzzword, but it's not sustainable. The whole point is that this is food that would be thrown out, but is edible, is perfectly edible. And so you have people out there who need food, and you have all this food that's getting thrown away. And what's the disconnect? Why would we do that? And I think especially when we've all been reading about these big issues of low-income people resorting to a lot of fast food, a lot of unhealthy food, the health issues that go along with that, the type 2 diabetes. I read the other day that 2/3 of the American population is obese, and healthcare-wise, that's also unsustainable. So we need to start looking at how we can get people to go back to cooking simple meals, not going to McDonald's, eating vegetables, and there's plenty of food in this country. There's plenty of food. There's no lack of food. It's really a distribution issue. So I think that it's something that we really cannot ignore. And when we've started working with the schools that we work with and taking food to kids in elementary schools who are not getting enough to eat, aside from the fact that as the richest country in the world, we should be ashamed of ourselves that we can't feed our children or that we won't feed our children, these are costs that we'll pay down the road. If kids can't concentrate and kids don't do well in school because they're hungry, then the statistics show that they have to repeat the grade. There are more issues of behavior problems. So we're going to pay all the way down the line, and we're going to have a generation of kids who are not going to be able to do the jobs that we need people to do. It's going to cost us in education. Every time a kid repeats a grade, we're paying for that. And so maybe if we can look at it in an economic sense, it will motivate people more than maybe it would if it was just the right thing to do. So, but it seems like with both those issues, we should be able to do this. The kinds of food that are thrown away are really everything. It's bread, pastries, dairy products are pulled from grocery store shelves, usually within 2 to 3 days of their expiration date, and they're usually good for 7 to 10 days after their expiration date. There's lots of produce. When lettuce starts to look a little wilty, or there's a blemish on an apple, they can't sell it. So they have to toss it. So it's really everything. I mean, it's really a grocery stores full of foods that will be donated to us or thrown away if somebody like us doesn't pick it up. I think that people can be gleaners, food rescuers, wherever they are. There's a big organization in New York that started many years ago called City Harvest, and they now have trucks and people, and it's a huge organization. They rescue thousands and thousands of pounds of food. And it started because a woman was walking home one night after dinner, and she saw a man throwing away food from a restaurant. And she said, "Can I have that food? Is that just going in the trash?" And he said, "Yeah, you can have it." And she walked it down to a soup kitchen, a church that had a soup kitchen down the street from where she lived. And that is how it began. I began from listening to a story on the radio from a woman who was doing it. I mean, it's not a difficult thing to figure out. You can look up gleaning on the internet, you can figure out, you can call us, we will tell you, go to a store in your area, go to a restaurant, find a church, a temple, a school that needs food, and make an arrangement. It's really remarkably simple. Sometimes I feel like it's a little too simple. When you explain it to people, you feel like, well, maybe you're not really doing enough or something, because it's so basic. We're just picking up something that would be thrown away, and we're taking it to people who need it.